Ninja Gaiden's early games are pretty near and dear to me. So, when Ninja Gaiden Ragebound was announced as a purely 2D game, you could understand why I may have been excited and a little hesitant at the same time. 34 years separated from the ancient ship of doom, and revivals of classic series like this one don't always go well. Thankfully, what Ragebound did was add some of its own flavor without overcomplicating what is supposed to be a simple dish, like a bowl of ramen or curry and rice. But let's back up a moment, just in case you needed a refresher or you never played these games to begin with. Ninja Gaiden released on the NES in '89. The same year some other heavy hitters like Mega Man 2, Tetris, and DuckTales. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It was basically a Castlevania clone, which had released in North America 2 years prior, except this game featured ninjas, ninjas with jetpacks, Jason Voorhees on a train, and the government of the United States of America. The sequels toyed with the gimmicks a bit, but never strayed very far from the core gameplay of running, jumping, and slashing. Ragebound builds on this foundation by giving you more tools and abilities to master. For one, movement options are an important part of your kit. In any case, the idea is to keep moving, similar to the classics. However, level design and enemy placement in Ragebound is meant to test your decision-making skills. In other words, when you die, it's because you screwed up, and rarely because the gods of RNG have betrayed you. But that's enough preamble. Joe Hayabusa, about to leave for his fateful duel, writes a letter to his son Ryu, which contains some instructions in the event of his death. But we aren't just going to watch a cutscene, oh no. We are going to play that very evening. The whole thing looks very familiar. The orange costume, the evening sky, and birds. You remember birds, right? Though it does introduce us to how Ragebound feels to play, the prologue mostly exists to set the timeline and get you hooked on that sweet, sweet nostalgia. Unless, of course, you never played the originals, in which case none of this matters. Meanwhile, a modern trilogy-dressed Ryu is in the middle of training his new protege, Kenji. Kenji is learning the style of the Hayabusa ninja, and it's time to test what he's learned. By the way, this straw man has collision, and if you touch it, you immediately fail a stage challenge. I just thought that was funny. Which is also how I learned that stages have challenges. Anyway, so this is both the tutorial and practice drill for the game's new mechanics, including the guillotine boost, other movement tools, and crucially, the new hypercharge attack. Defeating an enemy with an aura makes your next attack especially powerful. This game likes to stop your forward progress with armored or otherwise tougher enemies, and the hypercharge attack is an efficient way to deal with them. The end of this training puts you one-on-one against Ryu, but you don't have to win the fight to continue, and in fact would take quite a bit of effort to actually do it. Win or lose, Ryu receives a letter from his father and begins his trip to America. At the same time, demons invade the temple, with Kenji volunteering to clear them out. Here we get to see everything put into practice. Charge forward, slicing as you go, only stopping for a hypercharge to get through armor. Noticeably absent are the floating objects that used to contain sub-weapons and energy. Instead, these objects only restore health. This keeps you moving instead of having to constantly stop mid-stride to grab things. In the back half of this stage, we really get some use out of that bounce mechanic. If you haven't gotten used to it by now, you will. The first boss shows up shortly after, and the game eases you into the fight. Most of the patterns are telegraphed well ahead of time, and the one or two surprises later aren't much of an issue. The Shrine Maiden urges Kenji to stay and defend the village, but he would rather find the demon portal and take the offensive instead. On the way, we come across Muramasa, who is part of the newer Ninja Gaiden trilogy. He offers to exchange golden beetles you found for skills that you can equip. I guess now's a good time to mention my least favorite part of Ragebound. If your intention is to grab a number of the game's unlockable skills, you'll need to do some stuff. Namely, get a good average stage rank and collect hidden items. I'm not a big fan of these kinds of systems in a game that's all about pushing ahead. All of it is completely optional if you're stubborn about it, but some of those skills are definitely worth having later on. A modest B rank average is enough to unlock most things, but you're still likely to tread old ground to grab the stuff you missed or did not complete. If you're especially sadistic, you can purchase items in the shop that automatically boost your rank in exchange for a harsh debuff. Here's one. If you die, start the stage from the beginning, just like the old days. Yeah, no thanks. Some of these stages are like really long. Okay, so what were we doing? Oh yeah. And there's the jetpack ninja. That's neat. I touched on it earlier, but stages have a certain flow or intention behind them. Notice as we move along the route, there are a number of decisions to be made, and all of them are valid. Wrong decisions mean that you take damage, drop into a pit, or miss opportunities to attack. The density of enemies and hazards is relatively low for now, but later on, the game tolerates much fewer mistakes. Last stage's boss makes another appearance before finding some dead soldiers. Man, I don't know what it is with the CIA and ninjas, but they sure get up in our business a lot. More importantly, they tell us the Demon Lord is about to be resurrected, so it's through the portal to get some answers from the only demon we know right now. While this fight is similar to the last one, the previous encounter was more of a warm-up for this one. Just keep an eye on his flight patterns, watch for the torch, and the fight should be over soon enough. Girthka reveals he is only one of 4 guardians serving the Demon Lord, and then promptly predators himself. So much for that idea. Kenji wakes to find he's not the only human in the demon realm. A rival ninja is also in a pretty bad spot. Kenji wants to know how she got there, and fair enough, but is this important right now? Do we have time for stories while he's bleeding out on the floor? I guess we're gonna find out. By the way, I wonder how Ryu is doing in America. Oh, well, I'm sure he's just fine. Act 2 begins with our other protagonist, a Black Spider Clan assassin named Kumori. Their HQ has been invaded and she's off to clean house. No additional exposition necessary. Kumori's gameplay is not that far removed from Kenji's, except that she is removed from melee combat. Kumori has an unlimited supply of kunai to throw at enemies, and hypercharged strikes are also from a distance. Otherwise, she has the exact same movement options as Kenji. This tower is full of Spider Clan traps, none of which are aimed at the monsters. Kumori's earlier statement about the security system is incredibly optimistic. If you're looking to get that 10 bounces without touching the ground challenge, here's a good place to do that. Winding your way through here is not as linear as you might think, so it's pretty easy to get turned around while you hunt for collectibles, if that's a thing you're doing. At the top of this tower is another demon, Rizvaj, whose electrical attacks can be problematic if you aren't paying attention. Crucially, none of them can be rebounded with the guillotine boost, so dodge rolling or jumping over them are the two options. Turns out the attack was just a test. Ah yes, the classic, I tried to kill you but I was just joking. Don't be so upset. And Kumori receives an invitation to meet with the Demon Lord. The clan heads know as well as anyone that trusting a demon is a terrible idea, so instead have a plan of their own. They are going to double-cross the demons using Kumori to trap the Demon Lord in an artifact, the Tamashi Kunai. Next up is an auto-scroller while Kumori rides out to the demon portal. All aboard the subway to hell, boys. I don't think throwing knives at it is going to do much. Just saying. When she arrives, Kumori finds out just how poorly conceived and woefully ill-prepared she was to try and face the Demon Lord alone. Zero points for seeing this one coming. It's not all bad news, though. Jagazg lays out the exact details of his plans. Kumori and the young Hayabusa have a chance to stop them if they can get out alive. She invites Kenji to penetrate her, and he is all too happy to oblige. You know, I wonder what Ryu would think about all this. Oh good, it looks like he caught up with Walter Smith from his dad's letter. And that was the third time I was attacked by a cheetah. The second time was when I was hiking up the mountains and I forgot to bring my did my father send me all the way out here? I found a stick that looked close enough, but it was covered in poison oak.
So anyway, that's when my psoriasis started acting up, and I went looking for my ointment. But I couldn't find it. I'll bet the beaver ran off with it thinking the yellow tube was a piece of cheese. So I scooped up some mud and started rubbing it all over.
Hey, Walter!
Yeah?
Somebody just ran in here and took your creepy statue thing. Was that important?
Oh, that. I just keep my little blue pills in there.
Sir, this is 1989. What blue pills are you talking about? You know what? Whatever. I'll just go get it and be right back.
Ryu, wait! I'm lonely and vulnerable.
Stupid Walter, stupid statue, stupid middle of nowhere. Kenji and Kumori are just getting used to each other, which means another tutorial stage. Fusing with Kumori allows Kenji to use sub-weapons. Kunai are always available, and other weapons are first unlocked with stage ranks, purchased from Muramasa with gold beetles, and finally equipped alongside Kenji's talismans. So if you are wondering where the sub-weapons were all this time, it's her. She's the sub-weapon. Many of them are a matter of taste, though some use more energy than others. Albeit with the attacks and tools we already have at our disposal, I mostly forgot that I had them in the first place. But sub-weapon usage is not the only time we see Kumori. Most stages from here on will have these demon altars that temporarily grab onto Kenji while Kumori runs off to flip a switch or grab a collectible. Hypercharge attacks are now color-coded. You must use Kenji's sword slashes on blue auras and throw kunai for magenta auras. Lastly, we now have ultimate skills they call Ragebound arts. These are limited use skills that have a variety of effects like homing projectiles or healing, among a number of others. Anyway, with all these new skills, Kenji is now operating at full ew. Yeah, so that's all the new stuff, and outside of the occasional unlockable, this is what we've got for the rest of the game. This double-headed eel boss fight is one of my favorite encounters in Ragebound. Hepatitis Demon Blood River notwithstanding. Probably just because it's a classically designed fight where one boss attacks with melee and the other from range. I mean, I've seen this sort of thing in a few dozen games by now, but you can't go wrong with it. Walter, I'm back. Oh, balls, he really was vulnerable. Ryu, we need you to come with us and kill a whack job who wants to resurrect a world-ending demon. What? It's always Ryu do this and Ryu kill that guy. Does anybody care what Ryu wants to do? Now, about the Demon Lord's plot. Apparently something like this has happened before. Muramasa and Lady Obaba back in their day created a seal with 3 crystals that are hidden throughout the region. Not unlike the seal created with the light and shadow statues that Ryu is dealing with at this very moment. So both Hayabusa ninjas set out on a quest to prevent their respective demons from crawling out of their holes. First stop, a Pirate's Cove. Kenji is pretty jazzed about the whole thing and can't help himself from mansplaining. The cove is one of the more memorable stages. We've got some really cool level design with the cave motif mixing with the rotting wood of old pirate ships. We've got demons with cannons, skeleton pirates with pistols, we've got a kraken. It's the complete package, man. It's got a bunch of collectibles though. That's not okay. I guess that's just the price for one of the best levels in the game. The next boss is one of the more nightmarish. These spiky things she births at you is mixed with projectiles you can't bounce off of. And the spiky balls are tougher to slash through than you would think. About halfway through, the tentacles come out and it's not a good time. Yeah, screw a bunch of this, I'm out. The next crystal is beneath a feudal castle, but we'll have to fight our way there first. And here's Sickle Granny, I think. Yes, that's the official name for the monster. Look it up. Oh, that was a lucky bounce. Moving inside, the place has been preserved like a museum, but the demons don't seem to appreciate the historical significance. Finally, into the catacombs proper, we've got some armored slimes and a sneaky off-screen collectible that I totally found on purpose. Some slidey platforming and a whole bunch of nuh-uh, I'm not doing this. Except screw this guy in particular. And we meet our next oversized obstacle. Big in here wants to smash, and the patterns are giving me some headaches. I think it just comes down to tracking too many things at once. Getting stunned from the hypercharge is nice, but it doesn't help that much. And I haven't really been using my sub-weapons, because, again, I mostly forgot that they exist. Eventually, either from actual pattern recognition or dumb luck kicks in, and I make it through. Act 3-5 takes place in a Black Spider Clan construction project. The last crystal is buried here, which would explain all the monsters. None of them are wearing hard hats, so I have to assume they aren't here for work. Pardon me, excuse me, coming through. Oh hey, you're back. That's good. A bit of bouncing around the top of the structure, and Eyeball Stomach Bug Lady starts to make trouble for us by sending out these electrified shockwaves. In the meantime, you just have to find something solid to hide behind. It needs to be your whole body, too. If so much as a finger is out in the open, you take the full hit. Then we got the Super Meat Boy Trauma Zone, and finally cross some cranes to reach the dig site where the crystal was found. Man, I love that the game isn't afraid to be silly sometimes. We need stuff like this. And now we get to fight Eyeball Stomach Bug Lady as Kenji. In addition to some new attack patterns, Kenji's short range makes this fight a good bit longer than the encounter with Kumori at the beginning of the game. And with that, the last crystal is ours, so it's time to head back to Muramasa with our progress. Oh, good. The CIA is here. And they think they know the crystals and the sealing ritual better than the ninja clans who made the stupid things in the first place. Typical Americans. The fourth act begins with Kenji and Muramasa in confinement. But of course that doesn't last long when Kumori does her ghost thing. Now that we're dealing with the military, I think you'll agree that people are the real monsters around here. Armored enemies are much more common, and few are as irritating as these guys dual-wielding machetes. It's easy enough to simply roll through an attack from behind, but it's not so easy when you're dealing with everything else, too. Yeah, now we have to dodge gunfire, knife throwers, jumping knife throwers, shielded gunners, turrets. It gets to be a lot. We gotta move some platforms around and cross this massive pile of wire to reach the upper deck, where we now have to deal with soldiers and a helicopter. An agent in a kitsune mask steps in to take the heat off our back. They have a message from Agent Sea Swallow that the CIA's mission here may not be legit, and encourages us to investigate further. That's Irene Liu for those of you keeping track. She's been helping Ryu with his mission by being a captive hostage. She's very helpful. So it's boss time again against these ship turrets. And I get it. Video game and all. But, you know, if that's the bow of the ship, then these turrets are, what, about 100 feet away? Probably more. I don't think a sword is going to reach, is all I'm saying. An auto-scroller on a jet ski, and we arrive at the port. With unbreakable determination, one could say. We catch up with Agent Man, who reveals his intentions to use the crystals to create super soldiers to fight the Demon King. And again, this is another parallel with the classic series. The primary threat of Ninja Gaiden 3 are super soldiers created with life energy by Agent Foster. You know, this guy. That game takes place in between Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, so Ragebound is setting the stage for events soon to come. All of this goes down about how you would expect, but more importantly, these mutated soldiers will be showing up in a few minutes, and they're not fun to deal with. Especially these pukers that barf just as you get into range. Now, this entire sequence of moving with the tubes and using them to get around harkens back to old platformer design when climbs like this were pretty common. I don't know, it was just an unexpectedly nostalgic moment in this otherwise mildly upsetting atmosphere. Eventually, we find the Kitsune Mask Agent again, injured but alive. They have one more message for us, that the crystals are on the move, and we'll need to hurry if we're going to catch up. Oh sure, no sweat, I just have to dodge lasers, kill mutants, and avoid deadly neurotoxic gas. No problem at all. Oh, and this thing, whatever it is. I mean, at this point, why not, right? Yo, check it out, Ryu's dad is still alive. Oh. Oh no. I'm sure he'll be just fine. So we got train stuff to do. Sorry, multiple train stuff to do before switching to helicopter stuff. Like I said, I love the silly stuff like this. It is kind of a pain though with how much it throws at you. Train Boss is an amalgamation of other experiments. It's more annoying than it is remarkable. "4-6 is the final stage, so before we wrap, let's take care of some loose ends. Secret ops are unlocked once you find one of the 9 scrolls hidden throughout the game. These are challenge stages that give you an opportunity to score some golden beetles and unlocks. Though aside from the increased difficulty, they also have some of the tightest and most satisfying platforming in the whole game. Like, check out this Kumori segment in S-6. Oh, it's so good. Or how this hallway flows for Kenji a bit later. The true reward for completing these stages is having played them in the first place. It's worth doing. You know, Ryu should be finishing up about now. Let's see what he's up to. Oh, Well, I'm sure he'll be just fine. As you might expect from the last stage, the paths through here are pretty brutal. Armored enemies, shooters, and mutants are everywhere. The smarter thing to do might be to choose your battles, rather than try to kill everything. This middle section of the stage puts you through multiple auto-scrollers, one on moving trucks and another up this blazing cave shaft. Kumori does her thing, and after a couple of crowded hallways, it's finally time to confront Agent Man with the really stupid plan. I'm kinda tired of cleaning up other people's messes, but alright, fine. Let's go, big boy. You and me. Oops. The boss patterns in this final battle aren't that difficult to read, but the problem is that the cost of mistakes are high. The idea here is to try and break open the ribcage with hypercharge strikes. Nothing else will work. Kumori will have a chance to contribute, but you better hurry up. If you aren't fast enough, this happens. Just keep cool, and a few repeated patterns later, it's over. Now, we have a choice to make. One of you has to stay behind. Yes, this means if you want to see both endings, you'll have to play the final stage twice. Although, either one could potentially be a satisfying canon ending on their own. Now there is one more ending in the game if you want to see it, but you have to go through the entire game again in hard mode. How hard is hard mode? Well, the environments have more spikes and hazards, the enemy count is generally higher, and some of them are replaced with more aggressive palette swaps. The attack patterns of bosses have been altered too, but most of the time it's not that much worse. Except for Girthka. Yeah, this dude all the way at the beginning of the game. His boss fight is much more hazardous. Note that his arena has very few safe places to stand. This means to attack him, you must hang from the platforms above the floor. Stuns from hypercharge attacks are still a thing, but the advantage is a lot smaller. And chasing him from one side of the arena to the next is generally a bad idea. Other than this particular snafu, I'm confident that if you can finish the normal game, you can also finish hard mode. So, give me a few minutes, I'll be right back.
Many hours later.
Okay, so, how we doing? Alright, now, when you finish the game again, your choice of ending matters. Sort of. The character that is left behind in Demon Realm will go on to play Act 5-1. This stage is only available in hard mode, and it's a boss rush against the four guardians back to back, with no breaks or healing in between. If Kenji is the one fighting, he also loses access to any sub-weapons and Ragebound arts. It is Melee City from here on out. If you're playing as Kumori instead, well, you might have an easier time. If you would rather change characters or readjust your equipped skills, or both, you can just quit back to the map. Some helpful skills might be some kind of combination of Second Wind, Last Chance, or Skyward Strikes for Kenji if you want to use at least one ranged attack. Keep in mind that a single hit will knock you out of that skill, so strats that prioritize safety over damage are preferred. Piercing Steel also applies during Kumori's run, which is a total no-brainer. After many failed attempts with Kenji and a comparatively leisurely stroll with Kumori, the reward for completing the gauntlet is, well, just watch. Or don't. The original Ninja Gaiden games will always be special to me, but I'm glad that Ragebound manages to carve out its own identity without completely forgetting where it came from. I expect 2D fans will find more to enjoy, but this could be a chance for fans of the 3D era to see the series from a different perspective. I've been Tom from Mystery Game Fight Club, and thanks for watching. Doodles!
Ryu! I'm not dead! Ryu! Where did you go? Oh...